Now go to accounts receivable supervisor, Reliance Telecom USD. The reason being our configurations are for the Reliance Telecom. Transactions. Type, some invoice type. Okay. There is only one what you call customer which is available here, and the name of the customer is Reliance Oil and Gas customer. Because if you remember yesterday I was talking about the AJS module, and in AJS module we have discussed that Reliance Telecom is selling something to Reliance Oil and Gas, and hence Reliance Oil and Gas needs to be created as a customer. Okay, so don't think that whatever we are selecting here is the operating unit or legal entity. This is just a customer from a Reliance Telecom perspective. So I had created Reliance Oil and Gas INC as the customer. So Reliance Telecom is selling something to Reliance Oil and Gas, and hence I am selecting Reliance Oil and Gas as the customer. This is the only customer which is available under this particular telecom. It could be any other customer also. Okay, so don't concentrate on that. Okay, now you can see that bill to address is United States. Okay, now ideally in this scenario, okay, let me now try to create the lines. Okay, if you remember, somebody has created a mandatory DFF. Go to what do you call lines, 15,000. Now try to save this. System has calculated 10%. So why system has calculated 10%?
Double. US VAT recoverable tax classification has come.
No, ignore
No,
that
it
tax
is looking
classification.
for.
Okay, this is just
It is
optional. I
looking
just
for. It is looking for a rule shift to is not available, so it is going for a bill to and identify the tax assigned for that.
exactly. Okay, so first is it is looking for the rule of ship to. There is no ship to. Then it is going to bill to. Within bill to, what is my country? United States, and hence it has calculated 10%. Ignore this particular tax classification code. This tax classification code is just defaulted, but whatever system is actually trying to do is checking all these things. Okay, now click on tax. So this is where you will be able to see all the actual tax rules. So I had actually, I think I should have removed that particular default default checkbox in the tax code definition. As I selected particular default checkbox, it is actually defaulting here. But ultimately, you need to ignore that. This is what you need to actually check here. Okay. So it has, and Narendra, I think to answer your question also, to certain extent, you will be able to see from how system has calculated the what you call tax. So it is calculating from USD regime. It is calculating based on this particular tax type, this jurisdiction, and this tax standards, and this rate type, and this is the rate. Did this answer? I mean, does this maybe answer to your question to some extent?
Yes.
So it is more or less actually showing. I mean, it is showing what exactly it is used to come up with this 1500. So it has used this particular region, this tax, this jurisdiction, this status, this rate, and this percentage to come up with this particular 1500 amount. Now you need to get into your rules, check, okay, did the system really pick up proper regime? Did system really pick up proper jurisdiction? Did system really pick up proper rate and percentage and so on? That is what you need to do a debug. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Hey, just one question, Arvind. Let's assume with the same combination, I have one more tax rate, like 15%.
yes.
Like from tax regime to tax status or tax rate name, I have the same combination, but my rate is 15%. Okay, now if I create AR transaction, I ultimately have two tax rates available. Like one is 10%, another is 15%. So while doing the transaction, how system will take, whether it will take 15 or you need to manually select out of these two.
Okay. So if I remember, if you remember, when I was talking about this state, county, city, okay, under United States, under my United States country, under Reliance Telecom, where we are doing our configuration, I will create three jurisdiction. Okay, state, county, city. For state, I'll complete the setups with a tax rate of 3%, county 2%, 1%. Okay, so that means now ideally it should calculate overall 6%. Okay, you need not do anything. As I said that system and ignore about this particular tax classification code. Okay, in R12 you should ignore this. You now to get into the more details of what is tax, you need to click on this particular tax button. Okay, you will have three rows here. Okay, US regime, US tax code, so if you take this as an example, okay, state, county, city, right? Okay. So for state, there will be 3%. For county, there will be 2%. For city, there will be 1%. So it will be 3% calculation, 2% calculation, 1% calculation. And this entire amount will be summed up, and that is what you can see here. Okay, there will be 3 lines. You need not do any manual things. System will automatically take care, because those things are falling under that particular country, and based on rules, whatever we have set up, it will consider all those 3 rates: state, county, city.
Okay, I mean, okay, if I understand it correctly, since we defined 3 different levels in the EB tax setup for that country, so the transaction is considering the 3 types are eligible for this transaction. So it has 3 lines in the tax details.
Yeah. Okay. Provided. Okay. Again, there is one more catch there. So let us assume, like, I had created say 3 jurisdictions there, like one jurisdiction for state, county, and city, and I had mentioned for Ellicott City 1%, Howard County 2%, MD State 3%, so total will be 6%, and for XYZ City 1%, Montgomery 3%, and MD 3%, 7%. So let us assume I created only these 2 rules. Okay, I did not get into other counties or other cities. Okay, so that means, take an example, if my state is MD, but my counties, apart from these 2 counties, my counties say some other county, uh, maybe okay, some XYZ county, some ABC city. Okay, for which I did not mention any rules. So what will happen? System will consider only 3%, because there is no rule for county, there is no rule for city. So my tax will be only 3%. Okay, in those key scenarios there will be only one rule. Okay, then all of a sudden you can say that these are all the practical challenges which we are even facing in our current client. Okay, what is happening is, user says that, no, how come system has calculated only 3%, system is doing wrong. The reason being, in the background there is no rate for county and city. So at the time of implementation, you did not do a proper configuration, or you did not provide the details for the county and city, and hence system has calculated only 3%.
No, that I
Arvind,
understand.
it will not come into the exceptions, Arvind?
Sorry, why it will come to exceptions? The reason being, okay, I mean, there are different ways, like in different ways of what you call doing a configuration. In one way, if you do a configuration, system will pick up only if there is a state. Based on the particular state, it is going to pick up this. And if you do some kind of a configurations in such a way that, like, no, county should be mandatory, in city should be mandatory, you enter county and city. Okay, I'll tell you in our current client. Okay, in current client we are using Vertex. Okay, Vertex is based on state, county, city. Okay, there are some cases wherein what we say is, like, county and Vertex says that, okay, in the Vertex logic, state, county, city are mandatory. Okay, but in our Oracle screens, when we are actually, this state, county, city is actually coming from your customer master. Okay, and in the customer master there are various scenarios wherein county and city are not mandatory, not mandatory fields. So I did not enter any county. I entered some city, okay, some ABC city, okay, but I did not enter any county. So from a Vertex perspective, it is doing calculation of state, county, city. Okay, state is available, city is available, county is not available. So as per our current logic, in Vertex it is going into exceptions, and system is not even allowing an invoice to be completed. It will throw an error message. Once we get into the details or debug of the Vertex, it says that somewhere state is missing, and then we will go and update the state in the customer master. Then it will recalculate, and then it will calculate proper tax and populate that. So that is one scenario. And if I go with EB tax directly, okay, wherein if I do a setup of the state, county, and city, in some cases I have seen that, okay, it may just calculate only 3%. So it depends on so many different rules. In some cases it goes into an exception. In some cases it will calculate only 3%. And as there is no state, it will not calculate anything. Or if there could be some state, okay, you assume that there could be some state of, say, California, okay, or say, sorry, last Las Vegas or some state. Okay, but for that particular state, I did not mention any rate. So from a system perspective, state is available, but the rate is not defined in your EB tax. So in those cases, it will go for 3%. So in some cases, it goes to exceptions, and in some cases, it will calculate depending on whatever is being available in the system. Did I answer your
Yeah,
question?
just to add on, Arvind, I have one question. Right now, so far, whatever we discussed in the session, right? I mean, you define the tax configuration from country level, right? So, do we have any option of choosing the state and county there in the setups?
Okay, so what we have done is if we need to do that, then what we should have done is we need to create the jurisdictions. As I mentioned earlier, jurisdiction is a level at which you are calculating your tax. So in my current case, I selected the jurisdiction as country. Then in your case, you should select the jurisdiction of three jurisdiction. One jurisdiction for state, one jurisdiction for county, one jurisdiction for city, and all these three falls under country of United States. That's how system understand that
Okay.
under United States country, okay, which is associated to my address, consider those three jurisdictions and provide that. So when you once the system has calculated that, when you go to tax, regime will be same. It could be different tax rates, different jurisdictions. Okay, and rates will be also different: 3%, 2%, 1%.
So in that
And
case,
what about
in that,
other countries?
Okay, for other countries,
Other countries.
okay, other countries. That's what I'll show you now. Look, now based on our rules, if I try to enter a ship to or a bill to for a country other than US, it will not calculate any tax because we did not set up any tax rules for the other countries.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if I try to select say ship to a country or bill to say India or Canada or something like that, now system will not calculate because we did not do any setup. So that is the reason why when you are actually doing a configuration for tax manager, you need to take into consideration all the countries in which your client is doing a business, and you need to carefully test each and every scenario. Because in say US, the tax structure is state, county, city. In India, the tax structure is just at the country level. In Canada, it is at a province level. So you need to even understand the tax structure concept of each country. I mean, most of the things will be provided for by business users, but in some cases it is very helpful if you understand really the tax structure. So that's the reason why the tax team who will be doing this particular configuration are more or less kind of tax experts who will be doing this, or at least they need to have a basic understanding of tax. When our user say that, okay, I want recoverable tax to be set in so and so country which is a province based or something like that, you need to be able to understand what the client is talking about. Okay. Okay, now let me close this screen, start afresh.
Arvind, if you have the state jurisdiction at the county level or something like that, in that case, you will have it three lines at the tax or only
Yes,
one line with a
three,
cumulative
three,
value?
three, three, three. That's what I was trying to say. Three. Okay. If you go to tax, okay. I think I need to disable this particular DF if it is causing problem. Okay, if you go to tax now, there will not be any tax. Okay. Okay. If you go to the tax, you'll be able to see three lines. One is for jurisdiction of state, another is jurisdiction of county, another will be jurisdiction of city.
Okay.
Okay, so here I had created one more what do you call address for India. Okay, now in this example, ship to is India, bill to is US. Now, can you tell me whether system will calculate tax or not?
No, no.
No.
It will not calculate tax. Okay, we'll check that. Tax is zero. Okay, so that's what I said. Forget about this one. Okay, I think I need to disable that particular checkbox so that it will not even show up here. Okay, so the tax is zero. Now click on this tax. You'll not be able to see any record because there is no tax for India based on our setup. Okay, now try to remove the ship to. Okay, only bill to is available with United States. Now whether system will calculate any tax or not?
Yes.
It will
Yes.
calculate tax. Save this. It has calculated tax 1500. Okay, now change this particular address from uh, US to India. Now whether system will calculate any tax or not?
No.
No.
Okay, now click on tax. Will not be able to see. Okay. And when you can even try to complete this invoice. So when you complete this particular invoice, you can see tax as 0. Okay, as long as this is not transferred to GL, okay, you can incomplete this particular invoice. That is the standard functionality. And if you are able to incomplete that particular invoice, then you can change these values. If you are able to change these particular values, then system will automatically recalculate the tax. Okay, now click on complete. You will be able to see the tax amount of 1500. Okay, this is how you can see the effect for different countries based on the rules whatever you have set up. And in order to get the details of what regime, what system has used, what rate system has used, you need to get into this particular tax button, which will give you the details of what system is actually used. Okay, so this is with regard to AR. Okay,